dude, I keep on getting these alarms because I'm dumb. So, 6XX, right? Sennheiser 6XX. Oh, man. Oh, it's still taken apart. Ay, ay, ay. 6XX. Oh, man. What do I have to say about you? So, again, you'll hear other reviewers talk about build and all that stuff. I ended up doing it for 600s because I just wanted to. I love talking about the headphones a lot, but let's just talk about the sound for well, build and then sound. When I hold 6XX, it's, let's say it's not as confidence inducing as 600. 600 is just, it feels premium in the hand. 6XX doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't know why. Um, I don't know why. The whole chassis is painted. Okay, so the plastic here is this kind of maroon blue. It's a dark blue. And the same thing with the bottom portion here, and the hanger. It does say HD6XX, and it will say mass drop, or I think the newer ones will say drop because it's not made by Mass Drop. Mass Drop changed their name to Drop now. And these are the ones made in Ireland. Okay, so the 6XX, okay, are wide. Like, these are on the level of being wider than DT48. like DT48E, the S, the A's. These are wider than those. They're not as, they're still intimate. They're still intimate, but they're a little wider. And what I've noticed about 6XX is that its speed. Its speed is quicker, tiny bit quicker than 600. And I would say it's quicker and more deeper than 600. And it could be because, again, people say the 6XX is basically 650. But I, like, I feel as though 6XX is just its own headphone, and it's its own identity. It's its own man, and it's just what it is. It is wider. It's deeper. It's a lot more welcoming. I would think that you wouldn't be as scared listening to 6XX as you would to 600. And I would say that with confidence, not strictly because of looks. It's just strictly because of sound. Again, these are modded, and I'm talking about them in their unmodded state. Just want to clarify that. Like, when I was first listening to 6XX, because I got 6XX used, and I got it first. The thing about the headphone is how it just ultimately, I would reach for 6XX more when I wanted to relax. And I'm doing this more based off of like my feeling, and also like my gut instinct when looking at 600 series. Like, I wanted to reach for 6XX more, and I even almost wanted to just daily them. And this is the first one. Okay, 6XX was the first Sennheiser I got my hands on. Then I got 580s, and then I got 600s, and then I got 58X. So 6XX were the first dip, the first toe I ever, the first pool I dipped my toe into, in terms of the Sennheiser home sound. And Drop has been known for being able to sell headphones at a cheaper price. So we can assume we have to take the precautions to consider that the plastics somewhere, or the materials somewhere, is not the same. Same molding, okay? And also, the grill feels the same. The cup size is the same. The hangers are the same. Like, I can literally just whip this out and put the hanger on 580, and it will work. But what is it about 6XX that makes it different from 600? That makes it different from 580. These are very similar to 580 more than they are to 600, their cousin. I would say that they're more closer to their forefather than anything because of their warmth, because of their welcoming sound. I think I would be more comfortable showing my friend 6XX than I would 600. I would be more comfortable being like sharing the sound of 6XX and 580 than I would be 600. And because of their lies, 6XX has a few lies here and there because again these are in a sense, if you were to really categorize it, 6XX isn't a reference headphone. It is an audiophile headphone. I think that's something that for personally for me, I would recognize them as. I would label them as. And I think because of the audiophile level of or their selling point, I would consider 6XX not something I would mix and master with. I still would. Okay? Like $220 USD, like these are the best deal of the century, you know? But I just feel like because I have 600, I would use 600 for when I'm mixing music. But then I'd use 6XX for listening, and there's something about its warmth and its welcoming sound, and again the Sennheiser veil, and just the way that these are tuned, they're more better for overall listening. Like, I listen to EDM on these, I love it. I listen to dubstep, I love it. Listen to rap, I love it. Acoustic, I love it. Sunga Jung, you know, if you know him, he's awesome on the guitar. Love listening to Gravity on 6XX. And then I also love, okay, you know, the typical Test songs, Michael Jackson's Rock With You, and also Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Thriller. Binaural sounds on these are amazing. Imaging and soundstage. Again, I said how these are kind of wide, kind of. The imaging is on the level of 600, if not better. Like, or, well, actually, yeah, like there's something that happens with 600s. The 600 series, as they get wider, you trade off. It's not the accuracy, but almost the clarity of the imaging. And I feel like these are not that blurry of an image as it would be on 580. But again, that could be due to the driver speed because of their newer materials, it's a newer headphone, or it could be down to maybe there's something about the driver or the material and the cups and stuff like that that they cheaped out on. Because again, this is 220 USD, and the brand new 600s, I believe, are retailed for 450 right now. But I'm kind of like basing it off of like prices on eBay, so they could be, they could be just inflated prices from the seller. But all in all, these are a cheap headphone, and these are a very affordable headphone. And they are a very, very sensitive headphone. And I'm not talking about impedance, because these are 300 ohms. You do need dedicated amp. You do. But the guy, when I bought this from him, he actually did sell them with a different pad. The pads are perforated. They're like you can also buy them off the drop. I think that's actually where he got them. It's leather on the outside, perforated leather on the inside, and it is going to have that velour finish on the side that makes contact with your head. Now, it's got a little wider, or it's easier to hold its shape compared to the original pads that are on these. And with those pads on, I noticed that the warmth and the bass comes out. And the thing, again, that makes me feel as though these are more an audiophile grade headphone than they are a headphone for reference listening and analyzing music isn't because they're not detailed. It's not because their imaging's not good and the soundstage not wide. It's not. It's just that it is, in context, a cheaper headphone. And in context, it is sold for a market that wants affordable, good sound. Like, if you had nothing else and you had a budget of $220, mix and master with these all you want. But for me, I wouldn't. I would listen to the master. Like once it's done, these are what I'd plug them into. I'd plug these into the Valhalla 2. I'd get the FLAC file that I exported, which would be super low quality anyways, right? I mean, like, I don't really care about the file format. I'll listen to MP3 if I wanted to. And I would think that I would enjoy the song more on the level of listening to the Stax Lambdas with a dynamic driver from a 6XX from Sennheiser, the inferior dynamic driver. You know, I'd still have as much fun. Now, again, these are all, to keep it in note, this is all according to it being unmodded. Like, that's something I have to always, like, you know, repeat, that it's unmodded without the metal weight. And I didn't remove the foam. Even on the 580s, I didn't do that. I left that there. But yeah, like, 6XX is a beautiful headphone. And again, it's not like the build is bad. Like, I think I kind of like butchered that, or not butchered, but I didn't really deliver that correctly. 6XX feels okay in the hand, but there's like a creak that happens on the hanger. I don't know if you can even hear that. I probably can't because of my gate. But it just doesn't feel like 600. And it doesn't sound like 600. It might be similar. But it isn't 600. It's 6XX. And I feel like 6XX belongs after the mix for me. And I love these so much that, like, because these are the first ones first Sennheisers I ever listened to. I actually consider dailying them like every day. But if I'm going to daily a headphone, it needs to be easy to drive. 300 ohms rating impedance. Well, sadly, the Motu M4, it can drive it, but it can't drive it. These are rated for 250. So if all right, the tables were turned, I had a better interface, like a Claret or something similar that could run 600 ohms, I daily to hell out of 6XX. It's just that I use the interface all the time, and the interface is, all right, my main headphone out. Like, I have the Magni 3. I can use the Magni 3. I can use the Valhalla 2. But the thing is, the Modi 2 and the Modi 3 are not my main DAC. My main DAC is the Moto M4, and that's really what dictated me not really wanting to go through with that commitment of running these daily. But despite all that, I still run these a lot more often than 600, because I'm not mixing and mastering all the time. I'm listening to music all the time. So 6XX is what I reach for out of the four a lot more often, because of how fun these are to listen to, and also because of how just almost perfect they are. And even with the pad swap, with the warmer bass and just a little bit wider soundstage, it does drastically change the sound. And these would be the pair, actually, where I'd say stock pads all the way. Any different pads on 6XX is a no. In terms of their tuning, I think that these would be one of the 600 series headphones that it is important that they're running the stock configuration. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. I think I said what I had to say, and that's just my thoughts on them. 58X is the final headphone, and then we'll talk about the base mod, and then we'll also talk about all of them head-to-head comparison. Well, I mean, I've been kind of doing that, so I may not make the video on that, but we'll see. So thanks so much for watching. Take care, be safe. 58X is next.